Howdy folks, Spencer here, and today I want to talk to you about the latest batch of news for STO as of Thursday, August 3rd, 2023. As always, chapters are listed down below. The first thing I want to just quickly cover are the patch notes from the PC patch that we just had on Tuesday of this week on PC. They have went through and resolved the issues with the Cyclone Intel Escort, which I had talked about last week. In addition, they have added some more customization options for the Cyclone and resolved some issues that it had. Now, the Cyclone does still have an issue in that it can't use the Nadion Saturation Bomb console off of the prior version of the Patrol Escort, the T5 one, but they did state that that will be pushed live in a future patch so that you can use that console on that ship. So if you were holding off on picking up the Cyclone or the bundle because of the issues last week, the patch Tuesday seems to have fully resolved it, and you are safe to go through and pick those up. And for those of us on PC, we have a 35% legendary sale and a return of the 10th anniversary bundle to the C store from August 3rd up through August 7th. So this is a pretty good sale for legendary items. They don't usually do a sale better than this. The only time there has been a better sale was the end of the summer event last year in 2022. I believe they did a 40% flash sale on legendary stuff, but with them doing a 35% right now, it's highly unlikely we're going to see that 40% sale return anytime soon. So if there's any legendary stuff you've been wanting to pick up, I would say just go through and pick it up with this sale. Now, the 10th bundle will be available, for this time period also, and there are two different versions of the 10th bundle that you can get in the C store. The price difference between them is about $100. There's the standard version and then the premium version. If you are wanting the ships that the 10th bundle has, getting the standard version of the bundle will get you every single ship that is in that bundle. The premium bundle is just adding this additional fluff that you really do not need. And the only reason I would say to go for that premium bundle is if you just absolutely, want to have the epic token. But even then, I think for most of you, you'd be better off just taking that $100 difference, converting it to dilithium, and just ripping open a bunch of Phoenix packs. So I would just go for the standard one and skip the premium. I really just don't think the premium is a great value. And there are a couple other legendary bundles in the C store that some of you may want to take a look at. The Mirror Universe bundle is one that is actually pretty accessible price wise. During a 35% sale, this is 3,900 Zen. This will get you the legendary Galaxy X Dreadnought. It's a pretty good ship, honestly, especially with the intel changes that we've had in the past year or so. It's a pretty good ship, and for $39, you're getting that legendary ship and some mirror themed items on account wide unlock. So there's a couple different legendary bundles that I'd say to take a look at. And if you've been waiting for the 10th, well, here's your opportunity to go pick it up. So good sale, definitely take advantage. And for those of us on PC, the fourth event in the year-long event campaign is going to be starting up on August 10th and will be running through August 31st. This is a no-win scenario event, which is pretty easy to go through and do each day. The two TFOs that you can do for your daily progression are Arena of Sompek or Kobayashi Maru, and for the duration of this event, there will be a specific event version of these queues that is set so it will automatically end once you complete certain rounds. So for Sompek, completing round 7 is all you have to do to get your daily progression, and for Kobayashi Maru, completing round 6 will get you your daily progression. So pretty quick to go through and do. I usually just do Sompek on ground because that can be done in just a couple of minutes, but some of you may prefer the space side there. Now, with this being part of the year-long event campaign, you can go through and play it every single day of the event, all 21 days, and earn 50 event campaign progress every single day. Alternatively, if you're trying to get caught up on your event campaign, you can buy out this event right away for 2,500 Zen, and that will get you 700 event campaign progress immediately, and then you can go through and play the event every single day for the 21 days and get an additional 1,050 progress. And if you want to try and squeeze an extra 50 to 100 progress in, the timer actually works on a 20-hour basis, so you might be able to get a little bit extra if you're timing it for every 20 hours. But if you're behind on your event campaign or you're wanting to get it done quicker, definitely take advantage of this being available for 21 days to get as much progress as possible. Now, the specific rewards from this event for playing 14 days of it are the Protostar Experimental Technology Space Set. This has a new Warp Core and Singularity Core, an omnidirectional beam, and a shield array. This is all based off of Star Trek Prodigy also, which I think this is the first Prodigy stuff that we have in the game. So for the shield array, this is the Protostar Multiplicative Covariant Shield. This has a unique Protostar-based visual and includes a special bonus that causes shield regen to improve on facings where shield strength is low. That doesn't sound particularly useful at endgame, but we'll have to see how that looks once we can see the actual tooltip. Then we have the Protostar Omni Beam Phaser. This has a unique visual based on the Protostar in Star Trek Prodigy. However, the actual effect on this Omni is the same as a standard phaser, and this is a set. So if this takes the set Omni slot, I don't think it's going to see too much use because the Trilithium Omni is really good, and even the Gamma Rep Omni, some of you may prefer that instead. And for the dual Warp Core or dual Singularity Core, this will give bonuses to power levels while you're at a high throttle, and bonuses to turn rate while at low throttle. If you want to equip multiple of these items, there are set bonuses. So if you have the 2-piece on, you'll gain a bonus to shield drain resistance and a bonus to critical chance for science powers. Again, as I usually complain about, it would be nice if they would include these numbers in the blog, but it's hard to say how good or bad this is going to be. I'm going to lean more towards the bad side, though, just for the simple fact that in order to run the 2-piece or the 3-piece, you're looking at giving up a warp core or a shield or potentially both. And if you're doing a science build, which this is trying to boost, are you really going to want to drop your revolutionary or temporal warp core and shield? Probably not. And when it comes to crit chance for science powers, particle manipulator is a thing. Particle manipulator is the trait you get from leveling your science R&D up to level 15. That gives you a scaling boost for crit chance and severity for exotic abilities, so science powers, as you get more EPG on your build, and it caps out at giving you 50% crit chance for science abilities. So if you have that, if you have an endgame science build, this probably isn't going to be too relevant for you. But if you're at a budget level or a beginner, maybe it'll be okay for a little bit, but I just really don't think this 2-piece is anything to go too crazy about. Maybe the numbers for the crit chance boost are really high, but we're going to have to wait and see. And if you want to run the 3-piece, so the core, shield, and Omni Beam, you will gain the ability to offensively eject your warp core in combat, which looks like this. This looks like an interesting little gimmick, but I don't really think this has, too much practical value, given the fact that you have to give up, a really good warp core or shield to be able to run this. So, or I guess you'd have to give up both. So I just really don't think that the 2 or 3-piece look that impressive. And in general, I don't think that this set is going to be anything really game changing. So I'd say, I would still recommend you complete the event to get it just in case, but I don't think missing this set, is probably going to be that big of a deal for most people. And in addition to the set, you'll get 3 featured TFO reward boxes and 25,000 dilithium ore. And again, the date for this event is August 10th through August 31st on PC. Those of you on console will probably be getting this sometime in October, if I had to guess, because you guys are only just now getting the 3rd event. So If you're on console, you're looking at probably a 1 to 2 month delay before this goes live. And heading over to the console side of things, in the patch this week, they started up the third event in the year-long event campaign on console. This is the flagship event, which I talked about last week. And outside of that, there were a couple of little fixes here. So the plasmatic biomatter auto turret can now be re-engineered. That is a Lobi weapon, and specifically that is a plasma turret. So having those Lobi weapons, especially the space weapons, made re-engineerable is really good, especially when you factor in that the cost of a 200 Lobi item like that is typically about 30 to 40 bucks when you actually dive into the numbers. So I hope that they can find time eventually to go in and make all of the Lobi space weapons re-engineerable, but everyone that we can get re-engineerable is a good start. So I do appreciate that change, especially with Plasma coming back into the meta with the Gorn Hunter trait from a couple months ago. Then we have the change for the Agony Redistributor. So this should be a pretty nice buff for those of you that want to use it again. The way that they have buffed it is that they have removed the hard cap on store damage, and instead, the amount that it will reflect to nearby foes, the percentage will decrease as you do more damage. So it starts at a 33% reflection when you're doing 17,500 DPS to the target in a second. And if you go up to 175k damage per second to that target, it would only reflect 10%. So it's a good change, good buff compared to where the Agony was before. The Agony, isn't back to what it used to be, but it's certainly a lot better than it has been for the past year. Then the Tholian Web Spinner got a buff to improve its aux scaling. This was a buff, but I don't think it was enough to make the Tholian Web Spinner usable on like a really high-end build, and I think there are still issues with the passive on that. And then we have an update for the advanced photon torpedoes from the Discovery Connie, the Discovery D7, and the legendary Discovery Connie, so that you can now upgrade and re-engineer those advanced photons. From what I remember, the only special thing about these is the visuals. So if you have one of those ships and you had just went through and discarded those torps, you can reclaim them from the dilithium store if you have at least one of those 3 ships currently on your ship roster. So for those of you that like that visual that advanced photon provides, now you can go through and upgrade it and get a little bit more punch out of it. And for those of you on console, just a reminder that there is a temporal recruit event active from August 1st through August 22nd. The temporal recruit event is really good to do. The rewards from it are pretty good, and I do have a video breaking those down, which I'll have linked down below if you want to see why you should go through and make one of those characters. And for those of you on console, as of August 1st, the Theseus Miracle Worker Destroyer was added to the Infinity Lockbox. I got one of these and played around with it on PC. It's nothing really that special. Nothing about the ship is really, that game-changing. It's a good little ship, but I don't think I would go out and buy it again if I was looking at picking up a lockbox ship. So I do have a full stats breakdown of it, which I'll also have linked down below. And the last bit of news for console is that there are a couple different sales going on. So with there being a new lockbox ship being added to the Infinity Lockbox, there is a Lobi sale and a key sale active on console and a Start Your Adventure sale. So from August 1st through August 7th, you can get 15% off Master Keys in the C-Store alongside a return of the Keyring Bundle. And then for the Lobi sale, it is a 20% discount. And then because the Temporal Recruit event just started up on console, there is the Start Your Adventure sale, which is also active from August 1st through the 7th. So you still have a couple days to go through and pick things up. But the Start Your Adventure sale is 25% off everything in the services, uniforms, personnel, and starter packs tabs. I generally recommend you take advantage of this to pick up things in the services tab. If you need any additional slots on characters, this is a really good sale for that. But that's the news for today. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down below. I have a video coming out tomorrow, hopefully, regarding my Event Campaign 5 recommendations. So if you've been waiting for that, stay tuned, and hopefully that will be out sometime in the afternoon or evening tomorrow on Friday. Thank you for watching, and see you guys around.